Hey guys, so what we've learned is that there was a partial garage collapse. That's according to JFRD, and we're still trying to get some images in there. I was able to get pretty close. I was actually in 5 Points working on a story when I heard all the sirens going, so we came over here to check it out. And before I even tell you too much more information, let's get Jeffrey Whitmore in here. Jeffrey was in the building when this happened. You were in the cardiology building, that's right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Gotcha.
sir.
Well, just walk me through what happened.
Well, I got there around about 12:05, and as I was checking in, talking to one of the receptionists, me and her heard a loud boom, and then the building shook. And she jumped up, and we went and looked outside to see what it was, and that's when we realized that the parking garage hadn't collapsed, the third floor. We was on the third floor. And I saw a couple of overturned cars, and as we looked over, we saw looked like a couple of vehicles that was underneath, but we couldn't tell if it was anybody down underneath that or not. Then we went back in, and while we was on the inside, a few people went back out and looked, and after that, that's when we heard that we needed to evacuate the building.
Gotcha. Walk me through the evacuation process. What was it like running down that stairwell?
Well, you had other people that was on walker, and then you had some elderly people, and we was trying to help them get down the stairs along with the staff and other people. So it was, they moved us further away to the far end of the exit that they was going down. It was further away, but where the parking garage and the collapse was about maybe 10 or 15 feet from the actual inside of the building where we were.
Gotcha. I've only seen it from the ground. What was it like seeing it from above? How much of that floor looked like it gave way?
It gave away a lot. I mean, you could, as you looked over the edge, you saw where the parking garage hadn't collapsed. And I couldn't see beyond that. And I was more worried. I looked down to see was there any more cracks, but I didn't stay out there long. And me and the other receptionists were telling everybody to move back and don't go out there. And then that's when we got the word that we needed to evacuate the building, and we started to leave.
How many people did you see evacuating?
Well, there was people that was seeing the doctors, and there was people that was in the room seeing everybody. Then you had the staff, so you had a bunch of people, And it was, like I say, it happened around 12:10, 12:15, right about that time.
Gotcha. So we were talking earlier, your car is still in that garage. So what's going on with your day at this point?
I'm gonna try to find out. I know I won't be able to get it today, but I'm just gonna try to find out, what's gonna happen, how they're gonna, go about us getting our car. And I know it won't be no time soon because of the safety. And there's no telling what's cracked or how much damage has been done. All I know was you heard a loud boom, and then you felt the building shake.
Jeffrey,
it's kind of scary.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Yeah, right.
So we've heard so far that we haven't had any reports of any injuries. After what you saw, what's it like knowing that?
Well, the scary part of me was I had in just about maybe 5 or 10 minutes came up the elevator through that garage. But like I said, I parked on the first floor. I would have been on the third floor probably this time of the day because there was 2 parking spots, and I parked on one. I'm on the first. Normally I would have came up. And luckily, and hopefully, God bless that nobody, was out there at the time when it happened. But it was real loud, and the building shook. But what caused it, I don't know.
If you had parked on the third floor, then you probably would have seen your car rolling down.
Well, yeah, depending on where I was, because the collapse part is more closer to the building, where it's at, like, you got the river out there, but where it collapsed, it's closer to the building. And that's what I think that they was more worried about other part of that building collapsing also.
Jeffrey, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else you want to add for our viewers?
Well, like I said, hopefully everybody is safe and got out of there safe. St. Vincent personnel, they did a real good job as far as evacuating everybody. And it was kind of scary for a lot of people. And there was a lot of older people also, but they got out safely and everybody helped and assist everybody getting down the stairs. Like I say, I was up on the third floor. And we had to come all the way from the third all the way down to the first floor.
Well, Jeffrey, I'm so glad that you're okay, and hopefully you get your car back here before too long.
Well, I don't think it'll be today, though. Right. Thank you anyway. I'm going to call somebody and come get me in a low hour. Like I say, hopefully, cars and all of that, those are things that you can replace, but you can't replace a life. So God, God was with anybody. If it wasn't, anybody that was hurt. You know, thanks to the Lord on that.
Yeah, very well put. Thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate it. I'm just going to take our viewers here and just show them what we're looking at here a little farther back, a couple blocks away. You can see just the extent of fire trucks here just lining this block. I was able to get pretty close to that crossover, and that's on that far side of the crossover is where that garage starts. And while I was up there, before they asked the media to move a little bit further back, I was talking with a man who mentioned that it was his car that's the most apparent from the ground view, just a Tesla that is just lying on its side. So I was able to get a couple of pictures of that, but that's when they asked us to move back, of course, so they could get into this scene and address it a little bit more. We're still hoping to get some more updates as we work our way through there. Great to hear from Jeffrey, his experience looking over that railing and seeing the roof that had collapsed there, the floor rather of the garage that had collapsed. So hopefully we'll hear more from law enforcement as they continue to investigate this. They have a ton of police here marking down, closing off several streets around this area. A lot of people who even just live nearby have mentioned that they heard that boom. I was talking with somebody else who was also inside the building. She was in an appointment. She mentioned she's going overseas for the next 6 months, so she was trying to see her cardiologist before that happened. I don't know if Jeffrey mentioned that. This is right next to the cardiology building. And that's when she was told to evacuate, and kind of relayed a similar story going down the stairs, seeing all those folks with walkers and wheelchairs trying to get out of this building desperately as they try to evacuate as quickly as possible. So hopefully we'll have some more information here from Ascension St. Vincent's, but this is, again, a look at what we're looking at right now as fire rescue and police try to investigate this scene. In Riverside, Zach Wilcox, First Coast News, on your side.